Hello, my name is Sasha, and I'm an intern with the Office of Sustainability, and this presentation will cover commonly used gardening tools, and more specifically, tools that are found at the DH Urban Farm. The goal of this video is to help you familiarize yourself with garden tools, as well as see what they are used for. It is important to remember that any kind of tool can become dangerous if used improperly. To avoid injury and extra paperwork, remember to be safe. Only use tools for jobs they are intended for, and always wear the proper personal protective equipment, which will primarily be gloves and closed-toed shoes. Take your time and don't rush through what you're doing. And at the end, put whatever you used back where it belongs. Leaving tools scattered around not only makes it difficult to find things, but also creates another safety hazard. Typically, there is a lot going on at the urban farm, and a lot of equipment too. The tools you see listed here, along with others, are a vital part of the farm's function. In order to keep from purchasing replacements for lost tools, members of the urban farm need to stay organized. When you are going to use a tool, be sure to check it out on the sign-out sheet so it is easy to keep track of and so others can locate the tool if needed. Avoid simply tossing tools back into the shed or leaving them out in the open, and always return tools to their proper locations, even if that's not where you originally found it. Now we are going to go over some of the most commonly used tools so you can see what they look like and how to use them properly. Let's begin with shovels. A shovel is a tool with a concave, broad blade, and usually a curved tip. This design helps when digging and moving materials such as dirt, compost, and mulch. Certain projects can utilize different kinds of shovels for the same thing. However, it will be up to you to decide which works best for you. There are a bunch of different kinds of shovels, and the urban farm has 5 types of shovels that you see here. The scoop shovel is broad with a wide flare and square tip for scooping and moving large amounts of material. These are perfect solutions for moving pea gravel, mulch, or loose soils. The remaining 4 shovels are all types of digger shovels. Digger shovels are very versatile, and due to their slightly upcurved sides, they can better hold any material you've dug up. They can also be used for more tasks than mentioned. Rounded tips work well for digging in softer soils and for transplanting plants. A pointed shovel tip is used for hard-packed, even rock-filled soils, as long as it isn't too dense. And finally, a flat square shovel is used for edging, trenching, and transplanting woody perennials and small shrubs due to how easy it is to cut through roots. Spades usually have a shorter shaft than a shovel does and end with a D handle as seen in the middle picture. Unlike shovels, spades have a straight, flat blade that is almost always square-tipped. The blade on a spade is durable and is designed to hold up against heavy-duty jobs. Wider spades are used for driving into the ground, digging, and edging large areas, whereas narrow blades can be used to help define trenches or an edge. They can also be used to help transplant larger plants. A wrecking bar is a heavy metal device with one flattened end that splits to create a V. This end can be used for pulling nails, and the curved design allows it to be used as a lever for prying. The other end of a chisel has a chisel shape that can again be used for prying things apart. You can also use a hammer to drive this end of the bar into something you need to split. A mattock is used to break up soil or another medium or make a trench with the pick side, and the cutter side can be used to cut through roots if that is something you're trying to do. You can injure yourself using this tool, so it is important to use the correct technique. To demonstrate, we will watch a short video.
Some of you have searched for how to pickaxe my soil. That's a pretty peculiar question because the pickaxe is not really something we use in gardening. What we use in gardening is a tool called a mattock. And instead of a pickaxe, which would actually have an axe on this end, we have something that has a pick with a hoe combination. Now this is a pretty aggressive tool, and maybe what you're really asking for is how to decompact your soil. Well, there's a lot of different ways to decompact your soil, and you can search for that and find answers too, but we are going to show you how to use this tool. Now, this is a pretty aggressive tool, and it's heavy, so you got to be careful with it. You can hurt yourself, and you can hurt your landscape. So one of the things I would advise, perhaps the most important things, is regardless of what you've seen in the movies or on TV, it's never a good idea to raise this tool over your head and give it a big full swing. That's a very good way to hurt yourself, hurt your back, or hurt somebody else. So the proper way to use the tool is simply to keep it below your waistline and just work the soil like this in a methodical way. Not too deeply, not too much. If you're working really hard, that probably means the soil is too hard. So perhaps it's best to wait till after a rain and the soil softens up a little bit and then try the tool again. So really be careful when you use this tool under tree. Look up above you and see if there are branches. If there are, there's probably tree roots where you are. You can seriously damage the tree roots and the tree with this tool if you're not careful. So that's my advice on how to use a mattock. It is a mattock and not a pickaxe.
Now on to rakes. There are a lot of different types of rakes, and the design of each one is best suited for a particular task. A landscape rake is also known as a grading or leveling rake and is used to level the ground. They are primarily used in large areas with loose gravel or loose dirt that needs to spread out evenly. What makes these rakes a little different is you can pull them back and push them forward to spread out a medium. A leaf rake and a garden rake can be used to remove leaves or another type of debris from an area. However, depending on if the rake is made of metal or plastic, you may not be able to rake up everything and need to be careful not to bend or break the prongs or teeth. A pitchfork is primarily used to lift and remove loose material like straw and leaves. These are not designed to work like shovels and will snap if you push them deep under the soil and pull back. That being said, these can be used to dig as long as you only lift small amounts of soil at a time and loosen the soil as you go. Both the garden hoe and the hula hoe are tools used for working the top of the soil and removing smaller weeds. They don't work as well on larger, more established weeds. With the garden hoe, you're going to want to dig it slightly into the soil and pull it back towards you. With the hula hoe, you can push it forward or back towards you to remove the weeds. Both of these allow you to work around the plants you do want and make sure you're only removing the weeds. Loppers are used to cut and reduce dense plant growth and overhanging or unwanted branches. Loppers work best on woody branches, however, they cannot be used on every sized branch. To make things easier, some loppers will have gears that will reduce effort and strain when cutting. Head shears should be used when you want to make multiple cuts on shrubs and similar plants. They function just like scissors and work best on small amounts of plants at a time. Hand pruners can be used to trim and harvest. They too will only work on smaller, skinnier plants and should not be used to cut through thick amounts of plant material. There are a variety of hand tools that work great on smaller scaled garden activities, like when working in the raised beds. There are many different hand shovels and hand rakes available for farm members to use. A very helpful tool when weeding are weeders, which are another type of hand tool that you can dig deep into the dirt and use to pull up weeds from their roots. If you need to cut through larger branches or through wood, hand saws are available, but as with any saw, they must be used carefully. Hopefully after watching this video, you feel more prepared for handling the tools we house at the urban farm and have a good understanding on how to use them. If you are still a bit unsure about how to properly use any of the tools we went over, YouTube is full of how-to videos covering each of them. And of course, you can always ask another farm intern or volunteer for instruction. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact the Sustainability Office via email or over the phone, and we look forward to seeing you at the farm.